This is the last tool bench video you will ever need to watch. It is a brand new 2.0 version that's quicker to make with crazy easy drawers and can be built to any height, width, or depth you want. It could be a tool bench, a table saw outfeed table, and it is shop furniture so nice it could even be used as cabinets for your home. I'm building all of this with the cheapest tools I could find and without a shop. Anybody can make this, and at the end of the video, I'll be transforming it into the ultimate miter saw station. Let's make something. And this video is brought to us by Squarespace. So to recap, today, no shop, cheap tools, easy drawers, fast build. Let's go. This can be made to any size with any number of drawers. To make it universally versatile as a tool bench, I'm building mine to 48 inches wide, 30 inches tall, and 24 inches deep, with 4 huge drawers for tons of storage. It takes 2 sheets of 3/4 inch Baltic birch and 2 sheets of 1/2 inch Baltic birch that I picked up from my local plywood dealer. This is going to be the star of the show. This is the cheapest track saw I could find. I believe it was $130 at the time that I purchased it. It's also going to be the most expensive tool that we use today. So everything else is going to be cheaper than this. This is the Wen corded track saw. I bought every single Wen tool and I got a video on that and we tested everything. This guy is worth every single penny plus more. There are jigs you can buy for your track to make sure your track is lined up at a perfect 90. They're very expensive. They're all over $100. I just made one out of plywood and I just made sure that this angle is a perfect 90. So I can butt this up against my plywood, line this up with my mark, and I know we are cutting at a perfect 90 degrees. I can even remove this. All you need, just make your own. I'm following all the plans exactly as written, and the first crosscut is 46.5 inches wide, which is the length of all 4 rails and the bottom. This first piece is going to be for the very bottom, and it is not going to be seen, but it is needed for the structure of the cabinet. If you have scrap plywood laying around, I would go ahead and cut it out of that instead of using the good Baltic birch. So I did notice my first issue with using the cheap tools. The Wen, if I go too fast, it just bogs down and stops. So I have to go a little slower with the Wen track saw than I would my Festool. That's one of the issues that you deal with when using cheap tools. It's still gonna work, it's still gonna be fine. It's just this high quality Baltic birch is thick and dense. I need to make 4 3-inch wide rails. And because the piece is small, my track would overhang. Now I could put a piece of scrap on here, but I want to make this repeatable. So I'm going to put my track on this side, the wrong side of the line. So now I need to make this 3 inches wide plus the kerf thickness of my blade. So I went ahead and cut a scrap piece that's 3 inches plus the size of the blade that I can use to line this up and make repeated cuts. No shop, cheap tools, easy drawers, fast build. No shop, cheap tools, easy drawers, fast build. I really want to emphasize that you don't need a shop to make this. So I am working on the ground with a piece of foam insulation board right on top of my driveway. I need to cut 4 faces for the drawers. So again, I cut out another template so I can make repeated cuts. No shop, cheap tools, easy drawers, fast build. No shop, cheap tools, easy drawers, fast build. Now we're on to our second sheet of plywood. We're going to cross cut this to 59 inches. The smaller piece is not needed. On the bigger piece, we're going to cut our top and our 2 sides. So now I need to cut out a 3-inch by 3-inch square for the toe kick on the 2 sides. I wanted to show that you didn't need a bunch of fancy tools or a workshop or even a workbench to cut out the pieces. I am using my centipede with a foam insulation board on top as a tabletop. Of course, you don't need a centipede, but I'm going to be 50 years old in 2 weeks. I am done working on the ground. So I'm gonna raise everything up now and work off my makeshift bench. I am using the cheapest jigsaw I could find. We're gonna assemble this whole thing with pocket holes. You might think that Craig invented the pocket hole jig. They did not. They just innovated and made some of the best jigs. I am not using Craig today. I found this guy on Amazon and I have been very, very impressed with it. So if you're looking for a cheap alternative, I would look into Howad. This is called Howad.
Not part of the wall.
The whole wad, all metal, high quality. All cheap tools today, rocking the Bauer. All of the rails get 2 pocket holes on each end and then 3 pocket holes along the length, all on the same side of the board. Now we're going to assemble everything with pocket hole screws. This is tricky because I can't use my big, expensive, long clamps for this. So I am going to use this specialty clamp from Craig that is just for pocket holes. This end of the clamp fits into the pocket hole that we just drilled out, and then you can clamp your board on there like that. Don't clamp your thumb. That's fucking stupid. I have my side piece held up with this wood screw clamp. I'm gonna take the bottom rail here and line it up where it's supposed to go. And I have this hanging off of my bench so I can get the clamp in this way. It's tricky with one person. If only there was somebody here to help me. Typically, when you're doing a 90-degree pocket hole like this, you want the pocket holes on the outside so the pocket hole screws are going in at an angle towards the beefier part of the wood. You don't want the pocket holes on the inside because now the angle of the screw is going to the less beefy part of the wood. Scott Walsh did a great video on strength comparison from pocket holes on one side, pocket holes on the other side. That being said, I am going to do mine the wrong way. I don't want my pocket holes to be seen, so I'm going to have it on the inside, and that means the angle of the screw is going to go to the less beefy part of the board. I have been doing this for years. Everybody keeps telling me I'm doing it wrong, but I have never had one single pocket hole joint fail ever. Plus, we have so many points of contact. The strength is not in one joint, the strength is in the whole structure. I designed it so, you know, it's gonna be a little flimsy when we get these two sides on, but once we get the bottom and the top on, strong as AF. In Scott's video, he also showed how much extra strength glue adds. I am not gonna use any glue because I know one day I'm gonna have to take this apart to either move it or to modify it, and I don't want a permanent bond between all the pieces. This Baltic birch is stupid expensive, and I want to cherish and get as much use out of each piece as I possibly can. So no glue, it's gonna hold up perfectly fine. I'm gonna put the pocket holes on the wrong side. I'm not gonna add any extra strength with glue, and it's all gonna work. This one's gonna go in here like this. Slide that on there to hold it up, right? Slide this off the bench so I can get my clamp on there. The struggle is real, all right. If only I had a nice big workshop with a nice big bench to work off of. There we go. And now we repeat for the back and then the two top rails. God damn it. We've got the basic carcass assembled. Now it's not super strong. It's pretty decent right now, but it's gonna get all of its strength when we add the bottom and the top. The bottom we already cut. Since we cut the bottom at the same time as the rails, they should all be the exact same length. So this should fit in here like so. Maybe that's not the bottom. Nope, this one's not the bottom. Ugh. This could be any kind of scrap plywood that you have lying around because it's not gonna be seen. Last piece we have to cut for the carcass is the top here, and I'm cutting it to fit. This should be pretty close to the numbers in the plans, but I like to cut it just to make sure to override any errors in my length. And so I'm gonna mark there, and then I will have 1 inch of overhang on the front. Now I'm going to add leveling feet to the bottom. I've got it flipped upside down, and these are going to go on the inside. And the cool thing about these leveling feet is from above, you can stick an Allen key in there to adjust the height. So that means we're going to drill a hole into the bottom piece so we can access that Allen key from above. We got the 4 feet installed. So now, because we drilled that hole in here, we can adjust the height of all the feet and make it level. Next up is the drawers. We already cut the drawer faces earlier out of the 3/4 inch Baltic birch. The drawers are all going to be made out of 1/2 inch plywood. And I got another 4x8 sheet here. This time I cut 2 templates for the width. So I can place 1 template here, line up my track, and place the other template here and line up my track. We should be good to go. Came unplugged. That's the problem with working with corded tools. Now to make the cross cuts, I'm going to use my cheap Wen circular saw. With the square that I've been using, I ran my circular saw up against the straight edge and cut off the end. That means I can use this end right here to line up perfectly with my line. I am also going to do everything in pairs. Since I don't have a stop system, I want to make sure each drawer has the same length of sides and the same length of front and backs. So I'm going to work in pairs and keep those pairs together just in case there's any little inconsistencies in my line or where I cut to my line. We're making the drawer sides first. The length isn't super critical. I'm cutting mine to 20 inches because I have 20-inch drawer slides. Like I mentioned a second ago, your drawer sides are the length of your drawer slides. The drawer front and back is going to be the opening of the cabinet minus your 2 drawer slides and your 2 drawer sides. So I'm going to measure from right here to here, which is 44.5. My opening is 46.5, but minus my slides and sides, we're at 44.5. I haven't cut the drawer bottoms. We're going to do that in the next step. Right now, I'm just going to glue together the 4 drawer sides. And we're just going to use glue, no other reinforcement. And instead of using clamps, which you can do, I'm going to use pin nails, and that's just going to help me get that instant bond. The pin nails aren't going to add any extra strength. They're just going to work as clamps for me. So we're just gonna set this aside and let this dry. Don't worry about it being square. We can force it square when we glue it to the drawer bottom. I went ahead and cut 4 bottoms, again, out of 1/2 inch plywood, and it's just going to get glued on here. These are going to be the easiest and quickest drawers you'll ever make. And you might be wondering if the glue is going to be strong enough. I have been doing this for years. I've got a huge tool drawer full of heavy tools, and the bottom has never been popped off. There's no other reinforcements, just glue. I'm going to use pin nails again, just as clamps. They don't add any strength. And this is where you can square everything up. There are many ways to install drawer slides. This is how I do it. I take apart the drawer slide and I cut a piece of scrap. I start with the top one. This will rest on that piece of scrap. I'll line up the front with the front. I will screw that in. I will then take my piece of scrap. I will cut it down for the next one. Of course, I'm doing left side, right side, left side, right side, and I just keep working my way down. That is the easiest way that I know how to install drawer slides. For the last one, just put a little 1/4-inch spacer on there. The slides for the drawers can just be lined up with the bottom of the drawer. Now, we can put on the faces. I am using a sheet of 1/8-inch plywood as a spacer between my drawers. There is a trick where you can just clamp the drawer to the whole cabinet. And if you have your handles, you can drill the holes for your handles. And then because there'll be a hole in the face and a hole in the drawer, you can then take off the clamps, open up the drawer, screw on your handles, and that's gonna hold it in place. I don't have my handles yet, so I'm doing it the hard way. That is how you make a basic tool bench. This could be an outfeed table for your table saw or a place to put your bandsaw, lots of storage. I am going to make another one and turn this into a miter saw station. One of the things that I love most about projects like this is when you build something from scratch, you're not locked into a one-size-fits-all solution. Every measurement, every feature, it's all tailored to how you work. That same idea is what I appreciate about today's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform for building your website that's as custom as the things you make. Whether you're showing off your work, selling your builds, or just sharing your process, their tools make it easy. With beautifully designed templates, drag and drop editing, and their new Design Intelligence site builder, you don't need to be a designer or a developer. Just answer a few questions and you've got a clean, professional site that fits your style. I have been using Squarespace for over a decade, and it's helped me manage the creative side and the business side of what I do. Everything from setting up a store to sending out email campaigns. And when you're ready to change up your look like I did a few months ago, Squarespace makes it easy to swap out logos, change colors, and rearrange things. So if you're ready to build something that works for you, head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, visit squarespace.com/makesomething to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Now that I've got the second cabinet built, I want to show you how I'm going to turn this into the ultimate miter saw station, but I want to show you how we got to this point because I think you're going to find it interesting. I want to show you how I drew this up. I am using Fusion. There's still a free version, although they make it a little bit confusing on where to find it. It is different than the trial version. The free version does have some limitations, but everything that I'm about to show you here, you can do in the free version. The amazing thing about this program is that you can set variables. Watch this. Any parameter that I change instantly updates the entire model. I can go in and change the bench height, which does take into account the side pieces as well as the top, the bench depth, the plywood thickness, the bench width, the overhang of the top, the toe kick height, the toe kick depth, the drawer slide thickness, the drawer height, the drawer plywood thickness, the drawer slide length, which determines the depth of the drawer, and the number of drawers. All in an instant, and the entire model will update. The PDF plans will have set dimensions of 48 inches wide, 30 inches tall with a depth of 24 inches, both in metric and imperial. There'll be a link to that down in the description. My Patreon members will have access to the Fusion 360 file that they can download and keep forever and change all the parameters that you just saw me change here. That means you won't even need to know how to use Fusion to get access to all the measurements and change the bench to the size that you want. I have been told many times that I have the best plans in the business, even better than what the magazines produce. They're insanely easy to follow. Not so humble brag. I went ahead and made another one the exact same size, except we got 3 bigger drawers instead of the 4. And then I also made a 2-foot one with 2 big drawers. So the first thing I want to do is just connect these 2 together. And then we're going to make a top that covers the top, both of these. The drawers are already made. We'll install those later. It is not lost on me that we're using the cheapest tools for the most expensive miter saw. It is what it is. It is what it is. This was one of my Discord members pointed that out to me. To make this a miter saw station, I went ahead and cut another piece, put some pocket holes on there, and we're gonna bridge the gap here. But it needs to be lower than this top surface. So that way the top surface of the miter saw is just below the surface. And I want it just below so I can shim it if I need to. So basically I just moved the tables to the width of the miter saw, and we are going to pocket hole this in, but also, because that guy's heavy, we're gonna add some supports underneath and also screw those in. I'm gonna transfer the height of the miter saw to here, and we'll go just below that line. Just gotta drill a hole for the hose, and we're good. Oh, and handles. Gotta wait for those handles to come in. Oh, and gotta route some grooves for the track. Just when you think you're done, there's 6 more things to go.
No shop, cheap tools, easy doors, fast build.
I am so sorry for the cheesy music in the video. I just got a new synth and I had to use it in the video to write it off as a business expense.
No shop, cheap tools, easy drawers, fast build. Let's go.
I'd like to thank my top Patreon members this month: Jonathan Ransom, Jim from Wiserbees, Ron from Gnomeworks, Jason Ramos, Tom, and Wabbit, Amy. I will have PDF plans for this down below, and only Patreon members will get access to the raw Fusion file. I will even put together a Fusion file for the whole miter saw station for my Patreon peeps. I like this design so much that I am redoing all of the cabinets in my shop. You can leave it open like I'm doing here. You could put doors on there. And this is how I hide my dust collection, and I will eventually make a cover for that. I'm having thoughts on doing a Fusion tutorial on how I drew this up over on my second channel. But if you really want to learn Fusion, my podcast mate Bob from I Like to Make Stuff has an amazing course. These cabinets are nice enough for your home, except you would just need to edge band all the edges and then maybe use a walnut, cherry, or maple plywood instead of the Baltic birch. I do plan on adding a finish on there, but right now I just want to get back into some creative projects. Do you know what goes well with easy to make tool benches? A cheap and easy workbench made out of nothing but 2x4s. I've got a video on that here. That's gonna wrap it up. As always, be safe, have fun, stay passionate, and make something.
No shop, cheap tools, easy drawers, fast build.